I'll be taking you on a tour today of the features and functionality delivered in SylogistMission ERP specific to the requirements and needs of nonprofits, governmental agencies, as well as NGOs. We have a long history in this market and interested in those challenges our nonprofits and other public service organizations face. You're going to see that across the features and functionality set we deliver in SylogistMission. First up, let's look at the chart of accounts. Our chart of accounts has been extended to meet the needs of nonprofits. You'll notice here, this is a familiar look. This is the base chart of accounts page in Business Central, but we've extended it to include commitments, encumbrances, and actuals. Our commitments start with the recognition of requisitions. It moves on into encumbrances being automatically created with purchase orders. This enables our nonprofits to manage their cash flow and expectation and timing of cash needs across their projects, their funds, and awards. From here, we can take a look at our fund accounting. Our chart of account is supported by funds. So as we drill down into the transactions, we can see that impact on our general ledger. A fund is recorded on every transaction it's required. We have special functionality that enables our customers to decide how to manage their funds. This would be called our Enter Fund Setup. Automated do-to-do-froms are created based on funds. We also have the ability to manage a separate independent trial balance by fund where debits equals credits. As nonprofits, that's important because of my stewardship that's needed of funds to donors, their restrictions, and intent. We'll go look at that setup now. So on a fund, our funds have a unique card. This is an extended dimension specific to SylogistMission. On that card, I'm able to track financial and non-financial information in a very familiar way with a list and a card page known to users across Business Central and also to consultants. So implementing SylogistMission, this feature functionality is just an extension of the same experience delivered across Microsoft Business Central. It becomes familiar, easy to adopt and learn. Our fund cards include specific fields that post with each transaction. Those fields include fund type and fund class. And just like on a vendor or a customer master record, a fund type is nothing more than a grouping field that I can categorize and add business intelligence to my different types of funds. In this example, you can see I have different types of programs and awards, even my administrative here grouped by type. Type posts with each transaction, making it easy to create Power BI and capture that information in web services or in reporting. I also have fund class, and fund class is our posting group to translate and coordinate within Business Central. If I drill down on that fund class, you're going to see that I have the two GAAP requirements for our NGOs and NPOs. Unrestricted and restricted are those funds that have intent behind them and only can be used for the special purposes or designations that donor or funder selected. Now, when I come over and I look at the detail behind that, I can see that I can control that net asset roll forward. Nonprofits have special accounting requirements and financial statement presentation that require additional fundraising and endowment management footnotes and reporting requirements. So nonprofits, net asset equals retained earnings. So our year-end close that is familiar in Business Central, that feature functionality runs the same as it is in base, but our funding model allows us to post and run that year-end close by not only fund, but also decide what detail is going to be captured in that year-end closing at the dimensional level as well, giving that really rich experience to our users enable them then to track their net assets, not only by fund, but the dimensions associated with that fund. It's very powerful for their storytelling and for responding back to their funders. Additional features and functionality on our card are the extension of that allow to from date. I can control that. Many times nonprofits will have a specific restriction to use date, and we're able to capture that here. I'm going to back out. In addition to our fund, we can have automated due to, due froms. Now, this is a configuration package that I don't intend to go through in detail, but this page enables our users to manage their balance sheet and income statement, or in nonprofit terms, their statement of activities and statement of position based on their requirements. We have two real terms here, distributed and traditional. And distributed here means the entire transaction workflow post to that fund with the option to also capture dimensions. So as lines are entered against that fund on a purchase invoice, for example, all that rich detail by fund and dimension entered on each line of that purchase invoice post to the accounts payable. And should that user want to manage discrete cash balances, which is often a requirement of nonprofits, they can do that also. So as that payment posts to cash, that entry will include that fund and the description in the line in terms of dimensions. All of that will post all the way to cash, creating a self-balancing trial balance by fund and dimension for our nonprofit users. Very, very powerful if you're a nonprofit CFO and needing to be fully accountable and have transparency on every transaction. I can now map gifts and use of funds completely through the business cycle. This is very, very important to our nonprofits and only functionality you can find on SylogistMission ERP. So now with that, we can move forward into other areas of functionality. The first one being our batch allocations. So as those transactions are posting with that rich detail in balance with automated due to, due froms as a result of our fund features and functionality set that we just reviewed, we have something called batch allocations. Now, nonprofits have a series of different calculations that they have to do during both their month-end close, year-end close, and financial statement presentations, as well as specific reporting requirements by their donors and their funders and stakeholders. So if I look at a batch allocation list, you can see and start to get a flavor for that. I can do allocation of administrative costs. I can do allocation of generic costs, right, of fringe benefits perhaps. I can also manage my endowment in terms of interest, gain, loss, etc. Creating cash, creating entries automated by fund and combination of groups that has discrete math in it. We go look at this. This is a configuration page, but you can see I can repeat, and I also can create that journal entry within a repeatable method, system defined, with the customer understanding and what to be expected. This can be an automated process. It reviews, and they have the option to review and then also go ahead and post. Automating the month-end process, making it faster and easier for our nonprofits to manage their endowments and allocate their indirect costs. Another broad feature set across our product is our workflow. So we have transaction rules that manage that coding. We also have document level approval rules that are native to the SylogistMission ERP solution. We'll take a look at one of those just as a sample. So here in this example, I have a transaction rule that says every time a purchase invoice is created or a purchase document, could be credit memo, could be purchase order. If a line is coded to 110, this is a dimension, it's going to require this level of review and approval by two different people following a sequence of prioritization with the option for both approval and acknowledge. Our workflow is supported by email notification and is accessible on tablets or on devices. So making a very rich experience for those people in the field that may need to approve, review, purchasing, journal entries, activities across accounts. We can add that level of detail directly in SylogistMission ERP. Another example of that workflow would be user. It's the same example. The setup is going to be the same, but I can actually limit by user group, their ability to see transactions at the field level. Our user access rules are not specific to the general ledger, but can be assigned to fund, dimension, GL account. They also can be assigned to vendor and any master record. So this gives that user a very succinct view of their transaction so they don't have to get confused or have to come in and look at other transactions. Those user rules do pass forward in their use of Power BI also. So it's a very powerful way to layer in additional control and access to sensitive material. As we move along, we've also extended feature sets to support our nonprofits in multiple different ways. The first is jobs. We can see we have a Power BI of jobs, and in this case, our job is leveraging that Business Central experience for a certain project. Just like in jobs, we can have different time periods. We can have those budgets and actuals, and it's capturing that information as transactions happen. Nonprofits have a lot of projects that they have to manage, not just with restricted accounts, but also with projects maybe happening out in the field, items moving across different areas, etc. And our jobs have been enabled to capture the purchasing on those transactions. As we move forward, other areas of improvement that we've added and extended Business Central to fit the needs and those requirements of our public serving organizations is requisitions. Our requisitions extends purchases and payables to include the ability for a team user to come in to the product, phone, tablet, or device, and request a payment of an invoice. Now they can come in and they can select a vendor or not, depending on the organization's requirements. They can code that request, but that's also not required. Giving that organization a lot of opportunity to collect information at a team user level for purchase invoicing. You can see here we have those file attachments working as well, and I can notify. The workflow on this is extended to require a review, and then that reviewer has the option of sending that forward, attaching it to an existing purchase order, or moving it forward as a purchase invoice for further process. Just extending that opportunity for our users and customers to interact with purchasing in a different way. Requisitions are posted as a commitment and can be captured for cash flow analysis and forecasting. The same with our purchase order feature set. Now, as we move forward, we can also see we've added functionality. We've added functionality in the terms of award management. Awards are a very key part to many of our nonprofits' delivery of their mission. We see that it's a complex area, so they have multiple layers of this life cycle. So in that process, we can see that we have a proposal where we can capture all that application. We can estimate the cost that we're asking for. We can manage and assign to that funder, giving us the opportunity to track success with that funder and any specific rules or expectations that funder may have. Also, it gives us the ability to capture non-financial information. Perhaps that funder doesn't pay for travel in their awards, or perhaps we need to connect with different people across the cycle. We have the ability to connect and manage those connections directly on that funder card or in the award. Just like on our fund, we have start and end date, so we extend that opportunity to allow and control posting against that award. This proposal is in process, and we can tell that we can manage those milestones, and this specific award has been awarded. So we keep a capture of all awards and proposals so we can really manage and have good business intelligence as a nonprofit to understand our success rates and the pipeline of grants and awards. Now, as this proposal gets awarded, the award can be automated and becomes an official award. If we go and look at that same award that's been awarded, we can see we can have lots of different pieces of transactions, both financial and non-financial. We have fields that post with the transactions, providing business intelligence, right? Just like that same concept of with a fund. We also control that a little out to posting date. We can assign rules. These rules are based on those batch allocations that we looked at earlier. Perhaps on this award, I'm allowed a 5% administrative rate. I can assign that, and that calculation could be scheduled, assigning a portion of administrative costs to that award, maintaining that real-time position and reporting a functionality needed by managers. I also have a good audit trail of when these are changing, and a base functionality that is familiar within Business Central. Now from here, I can track milestones. I can also track information. And unique to Business Central and SylogistMission ERP, I can actually manage this using the inter-fund relationships. So I can have an award created in a headquarters and distribute that out to the different companies in that tenant or environment. Now, when I do that, I can come over and I can see my statistics, the different types of transactions on that award. I also have full visibility in those transactions happening across in those dependent companies. So we're able actually to look broadly across the environment and pull those values in. Gives that project manager and that administrative team very good, clear lines of sight on activities both at home in their home location as well as at the site locations. Very important functionality for our nonprofits. We also have currency on our awards, and you see that here. I'll pick on this. We have local currency, which is the currency of the company, reporting currency, which is usually assigned by the funder, and actual or award currency. And that award currency can also be defined. So now I can have 3 levels of currency in play on any award specific to the award, the funder, and the requirements on hand. Really powerful for those NGOs operating in multi-companies and multi-currencies. Gives very clear line of sights. I'm going to back out. That award is also supported by a detailed and a subledger, managing those expenses as they occur across the general ledger. There is not a need for double keying here. SylogistMission ERP is currently and always reading information as it posts to pull into the award management reporting. Other feature set here that's delivered by SylogistMission is the ability to track deposit and loans. Now that's very common in our Catholic profile and activities for their dioceses and their operations with their parishes and schools. So with our SylogistMission extended deposit and loan functionality, we can actually have an organization, whether it's faith-based or not, that can manage discrete deposit accounts for their users. These deposit accounts can have their own rate of interest. They are fully integrated across with payables. You can request automated withdrawals and manage a unique account by person. This is all supported by a card, giving us that same familiar experience and simplifying onboarding based on those users. You can see here, this user has $1.2 million available of accounts balance, and this 108 were payables that were processed as a response to this deposit account. Our loans are the same way. They're fully integrated with this deposit account, and I can come in and I can look at that loan. We'll go look at that here. And on our loans, we actually have the ability to track principal and transactions based on the nature of that transaction. We can amortize that loan over multi-periods. We can change the interest of that loan, apply payments in our standard workflow with deposits or cash receipts journals. We can charge fees. We can set up rules. We can automate interest calculation, giving that nonprofit the ability to discreetly manage their investment and loan portfolios at a very effective, efficient, automated way. Now, tying all of this together is, of course, the ability to report. So as I come into SylogistMission, we go back to my role center and you're going to see Power BI. Now, these Power BI is standard use case, right? We've got Power BI and we're using the Business Central profiles. SylogistMission has taken that a step forward and created web services specific to our data models that we know nonprofits need. We have included in our data models our dimensions and funds, as well as our different transaction types that happen, encumbrance, commitments, etc., enabling our nonprofits to create powerful Power BI specific to their funder, fund experience, restrictions, etc. This is a very exciting new development for SylogistMission in being able to really enable and empower our customers to deliver high quality reporting real time using the Microsoft toolset. Thank you for your attention. I hope this was helpful and showing and demonstrating the extended value SylogistMission ERP offers to nonprofits beyond base Business Central functionality. Thank you.